Welcome back to Obscure Gaming, where for a while now I've been getting requests to take a look at another Mario game, and since I have a tendency to find weird shit on a regular basis, why not? Today in Obscure Gaming, we'll be taking a look at that Sega Genesis classic, Mario 3, Around the World. But wait, Win, Nintendo never made a Mario game for Sega, and you're right, and the quality reflects that. But before we talk about everything that's wrong with this game, as always, we need to go over its amazing plot, which is not of Chinese origin, but Russian instead, so my translations may not be 100% accurate, though luckily neither is this Mario game. We open up to a scene of the Mushroom Kingdom, with a plot-related cloud sliding into frame right above it, with text reading, "In the Mushroom Kingdom, all was alright, until on horizon appeared a mysterious cloud," which luckily slides right off screen, so you'd think crisis averted until we get to the next screen, with a crying Toad and Mario not giving a shit. "Toad, what happened?" said Mario. "Mario, there was a terrible thing. A cloud is invention of Wario. Wario doesn't make clouds. But he has kidnapped the princess." Toad was in such shock and awe that he couldn't talk properly. Luckily, Mario follows up with, "I know that Wario keeps her in some of the most famous places in the world, but I do not know which one. I'll find her at any cost." Not at all an incredibly vague and stupid plan, and thus enters our title screen, which I can't read, so I just pressed start, which showed me this really scary picture of Mario, so thanks for that. And thus our platforming journey begins, in which you'll be tasked to travel across 3 of the most famous places that Mario's ever heard of: Egypt, the Aztec ruins, and Antarctica. Mario doesn't get out that much, but so you set off, and immediately things don't feel quite right, with Mario taking a second to gain any momentum, and then once inertia takes over, he's a little hard to stop, something you'll learn very quickly as you fall to your death. He also has an awkward jump that's duration is controlled by how long you hold down the button, while controlling him mid-air is handled by hitting left and right slightly and hoping you don't fall. Though should you fall, you'll at least be treated to something horrifying. Now, 1, that's scary, and 2, that's not, Mario doesn't sound like that. Mostly it's horrifying though. Horror aside, it is technically a Mario-ish game, one where he wants a hug constantly, holding his arms out just expecting one, but still Mario-ish. There are Goombas to kill, though if you don't feel like doing that, don't worry, because they'll just walk off platforms and kill themselves for some reason. There are coins to collect, which are very handy, especially since the game doesn't feature a HUD, so you have no idea how many coins you actually have, let alone how many lives you have. Mario can acquire mushrooms to make him not grow at all, as he remains the same size throughout the entire game, but you still get that extra hit. You also gain fire flowers, which don't change Mario's appearance, but he fires them out of his nose, which is unsanitary. There are warp pipes all over the place, though none of them function, and some have this little white flower thingy popping out of them, meaning they couldn't even afford to steal the actual sprite. They also couldn't afford to hire good hitboxes, because if you're even a little bit off, you're dead. There's also an issue with some of the blocks, as in the ones that are placed at the top of the screen that you might be able to hit, but can't actually get onto nor collect whatever item came out of them. In fact, there are a bunch of fire flower boxes where you'd want to collect the item, but you can't. Hell, there are jumps you can't even make without falling straight into spikes. Mainly this area right here, which I tried multiple times, but for the life of me could not make the jump without losing my mushroomed Mario, as there's an imaginary ceiling right above the ceiling, I guess, which, you know, I guess I could understand that kind of jump if only small Mario could make the jump, but there is no small Mario. There's just Captain Hugs over here, who's always the same size and shoots fire out of his face. Level design is pretty standard across the board. Run forward, jump on things, try not to die, with some sections daring you to not die, as if the game is saying, yeah, go on, try to make this jump, stupid. In situations where your jump has to be so precise that it's honestly a little scary. Like you need to jump and bounce off these blocks, which we put real close to the ground just to fuck with you, which should you pull off will just barely land you on the next spot of land where we have this enemy hanging out ready to kill you, assuming they didn't fall off the platform first. And to be frank, the game is horrible. Ignoring the gameplay issues regarding running and jumping, you know, the basics of platforming, the game just feels like a fucking mess, and the more you proceed into it, the more of a mess it becomes, as if the developers thought, well, no one's stupid enough to waste their time trying to get to the end of this, which the joke's on them, because I did. Each quote-unquote famous location has 4 areas in it, none of them featuring bosses, but each of them featuring somewhat similar level designs, until you get to Antarctica, where the game throws in some new enemies your way, like this thing, and mini polar bear person. And upon getting through all the stages, you get a nice confusing image featuring Indifferent Mario and Peach from Paper Mario, meaning someone couldn't find a corresponding sprite, thus throwing the Mushroom Kingdom into a time paradox. But this roughly reads as, Mario saved the princess and once again destroyed the evil plans of Wario, because Wario's doing this shit every week apparently. But the princess went back to her palace and again, all in a Mushroom Kingdom, lived happily. Which doesn't make sense, so I'm real glad I played through to the end of the game to witness its glory. So let's just move on to the game's confusing presentation. Now, as I said, all the stages themselves are fairly similar, though once you get past the first portion of the game in Egypt, the developers got a tad block happy, placing blocks in either really high places you can't reach or trying to reach will result in Mario's death noise, or inside already solid areas. Like, here's this blocky block mountain, why don't we just throw some more blocks in there? Like in the middle or something. It won't do anything and it looks weird and awful, but I don't care, is what I imagine the development process was like. Hell, some blocks don't even function correctly, and this is kind of going back into gameplay, but I'm pretty sure these blocks are supposed to fall as soon as you land on them, but here they're glued together in the air with gravity, so you don't have to worry about falling from those, just from everything else. Hell, these blocks are randomly put inside mountains. Blocky mountains. I can't figure out why, though. Another problem that arises later in the game, during the Antarctica times, are stupid ice blocks, which all look the same, but some are solid, and others are a part of the background, but it's up to you to figure out which is which is really dumb, and just leads to more unnecessary deaths and you having to listen to that awful Mario death noise again. Now, on the upside, if you look at the graphics at face value, they don't look bad. Mario looks a little stupid holding his arms out waiting for a hug, but other than that, things look okay, good even. Until later on, when you're climbing land masses that are literally full of blocks for some reason, which just looks really stupid. Hell, they stuffed warp pipes inside solid areas. You can't get to them or use them. They're just there. It's like, we ran out of blocks, so we put warp pipes in there for decoration. I don't know. If some more thought had been put into the levels, I'd say overall it wouldn't be a bad looking game. Just a bad game, but sadly, the developers of Mario 3 wanted to be bad in every angle possible, so that brings us to the music and sound effects. Now, I've already gone over Mario's horrific scream, so how about the music? Does that fare any better? Kinda. There's like 1 or 2 actual Mario songs in the game, with most music sounding something like this. Not terrible, but not really that great either. Luckily, if you don't like the music, if you break one of the blocks, the music stops. Which probably shouldn't happen, but I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. As for sound effects, none of them are correct, and all of them are irritating. Here's Mario's jump. Now imagine listening to that for the entire game. Not enough? Well, how about when you jump on an enemy and they make that same noise, and then you jump off them and you hear the same noise again? Does that do anything for you? Overall, the presentation is probably the best part about the game. Aesthetically, mind you. But because of lazy level design, it's ass overall. But that was Mario 3 Around the World, which, in hindsight, 3 locations isn't really the entire world. But in any case, don't play this game, are my words of wisdom for this video. Try a regular Mario game. Those tend to be pretty good, and not bootlegged. They play better, and more often than not, they don't look like someone just took a bunch of assets and threw them into a level and called it a day. But this has been Obscure Gaming. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to Endslate, where I've wanted to do this video for a while now, and now seemed like the good time to do it. But hey, you just watched an Obscure Gaming on Mario 3 Around the World, and I hope you enjoyed that. But let's not dilly-dally. Let's do the Endslate business of the week. And Endslate. First thing I'd like to do is recommend the last video I did on this channel, which was a Gaming Mysteries on the prototype of .hack GU, a very underrated RPG series that's more or less dead, but I like it. And then there will be 2 other videos of mystery, I don't know what they are, that you can click on if you wish to do so. At the bottom of the screen there's social media thingies. You have Nico, Nico does the art. If you weren't aware, you should follow Nico. I also have social media, so yeah. I really sold that. As always, if you like the video and you want to like it or share or subscribe, that's all appreciated greatly, but I'm not going to force that upon you. And I also have a Patreon, which if you want to support me to be able to make more videos, that's another thing that I awkwardly talk about. Hey, speaking of awkwardly talking about, I need to thank some wonderful people. The people who have been helping me on Patreon. Hi, wonderful people. I'm about to thank you. And so my deepest thank yous go out to Ben Shaw, Darth Penguin, or Penguin. Why do I want to say Penguin? Nikki Batelli, Shulks Minato, Abdul Kareem Torres, Nikki Layman, Sally from 3 Ice Cube Show, D-Man's Land, Jacob Sifford, Ryan Macklin, Paul Walker, Tio Centaure, Joseph Puello, Voltron, Chase Holstis, Skyward Keyblade, Joseph Constantine, Nolan, Christina Coleman, Alex Meyer, Dr. Azen, Aaron Arana, Aaron Brewington, David Freesley, I almost got that right, Fernando Silva, Rodrigo Derez, Brandon Alexander, really long name, that's pretty good. Beautiful Yoshi, Steven Seference, Sergio Peachy, Vinny McCasey, Diego Martinez, Karzen, McGamers, Mio Kurishima, Jay Steria, Christoph Perrin, there we go, Matt Jonas, Jason Fox Cohey, The Retro Gamer, Rory O'Carroll, I almost said something that wasn't even close, Gordon Freeman, Kenpachi Ranmasama, Lori Lon Rancher Smith, Anthony Mang, Squiggly Kip, Crow Feathers, Fat D, always shows up in the video, Alex Rowley, Kelsey Lewinsbury, Lucas Bosk, Jonathan Klaus, Shay Montgomery, damn it, Arpai's Spies, Joseph Hitsky, Ryan Cole, Erlen Mattis Rees, Jacob Epler, Buying Senpai's Attention. That's pretty good too. River Casey, Zachary Hacker, Joel Guzman, Dark Video Gamer, but I'll never forget Buying Senpai's Attention. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Sorry, I have a cold. Of course I have a cold. I have been able to plan out a lot of videos that I'm hoping to get out this month and next month as well, the November-December time. And I wouldn't have been able to focus on them as much without that support, so thank you very much. I'm awkward. Hi. Next time on Endslate, I don't know yet. But it'll be some other video, and then I'll ramble on about stuff. It'll be great. So I'll see you guys next time on And Slate.